You guys, it's one of those. I'm all blurry. Am I blurry now? I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm waiting for there we go. Josh is on. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
I don't know if that
Yeah,
was
but
you or
ignore me
me,
anyway.
but
Sorry, today's a day of Wi-Fi and technology challenges. So, but yes, about Krista. Yesterday, I did a socially distanced visit with her,
yeah.
and she's got this great swing in her front yard. And so my son had such a field day. I haven't seen him have that much joy since the quarantine. So it was
Oh,
really amazing.
oh, that's nice.
It was really
Um,
great.
yeah, we were just saying how there's certain friends you trust to bring people together, and she's certainly one of those people. If she says meet someone, I'd be like, yeah, of course, I'll meet them. You know?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Krista. I told
Yeah.
her, I texted her to remind her to watch. So, yeah, I would love for you to chat a bit about, yeah, I mean, first of all, your voice is amazing. I'm like, dude, is there anything this guy can't do?
Yeah.
And yeah, can you cook?
I'm cooking during this moment. I'm actually learning. I've got a couple new tricks under my, belt with this, but I wasn't much of a cook, but I've cracked a couple recipes. I'm pretty
I
happy.
love it. Yeah, so I was really, really touched by your newsletter. I watched one of your lives last week. I can't remember who it was with, and I heard you talk about it, and I forgot to subscribe because I'm so busy. And so when you sent it, I say hi. Thank you. I was so incredibly moved by it. So would you mind chatting about that and like how people can sign up and what it is?
Yeah, it was actually I started making music with Ben Lee, who's an Australian singer-songwriter.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, we have a band called Radnor and Lee. We're about to release our second record, and that's how I started on the whole songwriting kick. And he urged me. He said you should get a mailing list together so you can really communicate more directly with people. He said, Twitter, which was my only presence at that time. He said people don't click links. You like to go a lot deeper. I find I'm not very good at I'm not very good at kind of pithy soundbitey things. It's not my favorite thing. So Twitter it's never been my favorite home online. And so I got this email list together, and I started writing these things that um, people who subscribed kind of named it. There were like 3 people that said you should call these newsletters, and I thought, what a great
It
um,
is a great name.
it's a great name. So
Yeah.
I've been writing them for a couple of years. You can sign up. There's the links in my Twitter bio and in my Instagram bio. And a lot of people get them now. And I write one every 2 months. I try to do every month. It doesn't work out that way. But I would say they're kind of hard to describe in the same way I find it hard to describe myself and what I do. I find it hard
Hello,
to
I get it.
describe.
I get it, Josh Radnor. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
That's why I felt such a kindred spirit when I read your email. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I would say, I try to write about things that are inspiring me, challenges I'm having. I just try to be honest, but also like not oversharey in a way that kind of crosses like appropriate lines. Like I just try to stumbling over where I'm having certain victories. And then I keep track throughout the month of things that have been inspiring me or making me laugh or giving me a moment of reflection. And I include links for a lot of those things. So people seem to really enjoy them. They're free. It's a great way to just stay in touch with me and what I'm up to and where I'm at.
I love it. I love it. So that last one you wrote was, what, like just a week or so ago?
It was maybe like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I don't know. It was early in the quarantine ish, or a couple weeks in.
Yeah. Oh, it starts beautiful, and then in the end, you include all. I was gonna look for it, but it's on my phone. In the end, you put all these links in of things that are inspiring you, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It just really it's a beautiful way also to share. Because you have a lot of people who listen to you. You have a platform to share your um to share I want to say not your people, but like what other gifts with other people.
Yeah, I mean that's always been an impulse in me. Like if I get a learn of a great quote or a piece of kind of wisdom, I send it. Or I've always sent it around to a number of friends. You know, just immediately. Like my friends kind of depend on me to be like a curator of sorts around things that are flying through my awareness that are really beautiful or interesting or inspiring. So I love doing that at a bigger level, just to say like the last month or two, you know, these are some articles or pieces of music or clips that have really excited me in some way.
I love it. So what's exciting you right now, or music, or watching, or reading, or
Uh, I love the new Fiona Apple record.
love her.
It's amazing. I think she's a
Can
great
do no
artist
wrong.
and a great artist for this moment. I've been listening to that record a lot. Um, I just finished this book, which I can't recommend highly enough. It's called Learning to Walk in the Dark by
Oh,
Barbara Brown Taylor.
who's it by?
Barbara Brown Taylor.
Okay.
And I just started another book of hers that a friend sent me. She was a minister and she left to be a college professor, but she still writes so beautifully about faith and this book in particular is about how in most spirituality and religion they talk about light as the metaphor for spirit and darkness as the metaphor for evil. And she said, but all good things start in the dark, you know, that the unknown and the and she says we talk so much about enlightenment but we rarely talk about endarkenment. And
God, I love that.
isn't that amazing? And she said if you're on any kind of spiritual path, the dark night of the soul is a feature of it, you know,
God, I love it.
that we can't be afraid of the dark moments. And something that really inspired me was she talks about really starting to pay attention to the moon and how the moon every month is going to wax and it's going to wane. I don't know which is which, but it's going to grow and it's going to contract. And just really getting that that's what life is. You know, sometimes we're at this full space and other times we're at this contracting, kind of getting ready to grow space. And so I find that very inspiring.
I was trying to pull up. I can't remember which email you sent it to. I wanted to pull up your motherfucker. It's on my other email, but I wanted to pull up because I remember there was like some things, and I'm like, oh, I got to talk to him about it. But one of the things was you talking about kind of platitudes, and you were finding yourself saying like, oh, this was all going to be okay, and then feeling like that maybe was your privilege speaking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you want to, can you talk about that?
Yeah, I noticed that there's certain things that ping around in my head when things get weird or dark or off, right? And it'll be like, this is going to be okay. This is going to be a learning experience. We're going to emerge from this stronger than we went in. Where there's certain almost like reflexively optimistic pep talk things that I'll give myself in my head that I didn't know. I started to interrogate them and say, I don't know if everything's going to be okay. Like, I don't know. I'm not an economist. I'm not a
Right.
political scientist. I'm not a politician. I, you know, what helps me is to look for what I would call like perennial wisdom. You know, like what's been true 5,000 years, 10,000 years, not just true in the last 10 years. Because if something has proven to be true and reliable throughout history, there's probably something in there in the frequency of it that is usable for us today in modern times. So, for instance, I think about, you know, sometimes when I get really upset about our current leadership, which without naming any names, I can get very, very, very worked up about that.
Do it. Work
I
it
know.
up, man.
Well, no, I think about, you know, who was the king around the time of the Buddha? I mean, certainly Jesus railed against the rulers. You know, that society was living under a very oppressive, stifling kind of regime. So I think about like most of history has been riddled with terrible rulers, but that hasn't stopped people from making the greatest paintings in the world, the greatest, writing the greatest plays and books and music. You know, like it feels like if I take my cue about how to feel from who's the president or something, it doesn't help me that much. Now, I believe in removing this guy and donating all the money to opposition groups. He upsets me on some sort of core cellular level. That said, I don't want him to overtake and hijack my brain and my life,
Right.
because there's so much to do. Richard Rohr, who's a great hero of mine, and I would recommend any book of his, Richard, R-O-H-R, Richard Rohr. He's
Okay.
a Franciscan priest, and he runs something called the Center for Action and Contemplation. And he says, pay attention. He said, it's two things. It's action and contemplation. It's not just sitting like a monk, and meditating all day long. And it's not just
It's action. This is so interesting for me because I'm working so hard to hear you, and because normally it just streams through my hearing. Action and what was the second?
contemplation.
Contemplation. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this keeps coming up in my chats, especially with Black activists, because like people would leave comments like, well, just focus on yourself and you shouldn't try to change other people. And I get all fired up. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. No, they go together, really. And but one of the things, the core thing of the CAC that they say is the best criticism of the bad is the practice of the better.
I love that.
Yeah. So when I want to, that's why Twitter's like, I have a complicated relationship to it, because it seems like there's so much criticism of the bad. And I really try to seek out the practice of the better. What does that look like in this day and age? For me, beyond just writing checks or talking to people and trying to raise money and bring awareness to people who are suffering or marginalized or really hurting right now, offering music, that my music is, I try to be really, like the newsletters, I try to be really honest and really forthright and really inspirational, but I want my optimism and my wisdom to be hard won. I don't like easy platitudes,
I hate them.
Yeah, sometimes people will write me and say, if I'm struggling or something, they'll say, you just have to think positively. And it's like, I know, think positively.
I always laugh when people say, Jen, you're so positive, because I actually never use that word. And I know some of my friends do and people do. I don't. And one of my like famous hashtags is real motherfucking life. So I don't find that I'm positive. I think I'm real. And so I acknowledge, the duality and things. And it's interesting though, because my favorite phrase in the whole world and what I have craved my whole life, my father died when I was 8. And, it was a trauma that I really never dealt with until recently. My thing I wanted the most is to feel safe in the world and for someone to say it's going to be okay. And so I attempt to be that person in the world for people, but not in the way, I understood what you were saying on your newsletter, not in a fake kind of platitudey way, but in a way that's like this: I'm here, I got you, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here.
And I find that I was talking to a friend on her podcast, and it was kind of like this. She called it selfish altruism.
Yeah,
where
I love that.
Where if I am hurting and alarmed about something, the best thing I can do is offer comfort to someone. That's the very best thing I can do, rather than saying, I need someone to comfort me, go comfort. It's the St. Francis prayer, rather than to be loved, love, and to be comforted, give comfort. I think you're hitting on a very classic spiritual principle,
It's, it is a conundrum. And I think then we get into the definition of like, well, what does okay mean when we say it's going to be okay? Right. So I have one tattoo only, it says I got you. And the other one I was going to get, but COVID came, is it's going to be okay. And so quite often, if you're like my friend, which we are now, every once in a while I'll text you or I'll call, go, it's going to be okay, right? And I just like want that comfort from someone that I love or who loves me.
Yeah. I'll know what to text back if you text me that.
You what?
I'll know what to tell you. Can text me that. I got you.
There's this amazing woman named Nadia Boltz-Weber. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram. She's Sarcastic Lutheran. She has all these famous videos. She's all tatted up, and she has all these videos, like one's about like pray for the assholes. She's great. But like out of the blue last week, I woke up and there was a text that just said, it's going to be okay. Because I was on her podcast and I said, those are the words I crave the most. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's so beautiful to have people who, you know, it's like our comfort people, or our I don't want to use the word tribe, our heart people, our soul people, you know. And
Yeah, I think about that as like almost like soul pods or something, where you recognize someone and you say, this doesn't feel like our first go around together. You know, those people that you can just dive in with so completely, and you realize that you've responded to a lot of the same art and you are looking for the same things. You have the same wounds, you know, or similar wounds.
Absolutely. Krista was that way for me, Krista Vernoff. I was like, oh, this isn't our first time.
Yeah,
you know?
I have that thing with Krista. I try to do the math of how long we've been friends, and it's like, we met at our friend Michaela and Fred's wedding, but we were such fast friends that it feels like we've been friends for 20 years.
Michaela.
Oh, you did, through Michaela?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
Michaela was on my fancy talk show, and Michaela, because my best friend Annie Sertich is Michaela's friend. Michaela directed her show, and so Michaela was on, and after she was on, she was just really inspired by what I was doing. She's like, "You need to meet Krista," and that was that. And so Krista and I have like just
Michaela Watkins, another great connector.
Oh fuck yeah, Michaela! Yeah. I love Michaela. I've known Michaela for a while, and yeah, she was on, and I adore her, and what a talent, and just a beautiful, beautiful human being. So
she met her husband Fred at my house.
No, I didn't know that.
And last summer was their, like, I don't know, 5-year anniversary, and I was working in New York. I was filming the show Hunters, and they were in New York, and they're like, "Will you come out for dinner with us?" And I said, "Sure." And they said, "It's our 5-year anniversary." And I was like, "I'm not coming out with you for your 5-year anniversary." And they demanded that I come out with them for their 5-year anniversary dinner, which I thought was so adorable.
I think they really posted about it on Instagram, because I vaguely remember, I remember seeing a post about it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool, though.
They're very special friends, yeah.
And then remember, I texted you. I was like, oh, so a friend of mine who runs a website called Modern Lost, you know, so I'm Jewish. That's what I always say. I'm like, you know, I'm a cultural Jew, but the crazy thing is, before my father died, I went to yeshiva. I spoke Hebrew, all that. And then my dad died when I was 8, and like that was that. So I never had a bar mitzvah. And anyway, so Gabrielle asked me to be part of this storytelling. I didn't even remember it, truthfully. And I just remember she goes, "Do you know Josh Radnor? He's part of it." And I forgot about it. COVID happened until Krista sent that text. And I was like, oh, yeah, we were going to do that thing. And you didn't even remember. You were like, oh, I went back and looked at my email.
Yeah.
For like a temple, or I don't know.
It was a fundraiser. Yeah, I was going to sing a couple songs. And
yeah. So
well, we were destined to meet. It was going to happen.
We were, Josh. Do you want to sing a song?
Oh, man, I hadn't thought about it. I can. What would I play? I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, whatever. There's no pressure. It could, you know, it's like this whole vibe is about being, is real motherfucking life. It's about being imperfect and impromptu. And you took a pill.
Staring at my guitar like it's.
Where's Daddy? Wait, you can't come over. You're not wearing pants. I can't let the internet see that. I will be in the bathroom. Sit there for a second. I will come. I will come wipe your butt. This is real motherfucking life, everyone.
That's real life.
So I'm gonna go wipe his butt while you start. You tell everyone what you're gonna sing, and you start. And I'll be back in 1 second after I wipe Charlie's tush.
Do I have a capo up here? Oh, hi guys. I don't know what's going on exactly. Oh, there we go. Do you guys have any of my original songs that you would want to hear that are not, no, I'm reading the chat right now, that are not 500 Miles or Love Beyond Rose? Anyone know my original songs? I have a YouTube channel, you can check them out, but if anyone wants to request one, I can play it. I just said no 500 Miles. I'm trying to get some requests, but I don't know if...
I mean, that was just too funny that just happened. But you didn't even bat an eyelash.
Oh, okay. I saw. Now I'm getting some. I saw. This is called "Apocalyptic Love Song." I hope I can. I don't know if I'm too caffeinated
Did you say you don't know if you're too caffeinated?
to strum.
Well, because I can't hear very well, it's like I make up words. I'm like, I'm not sure if he's. I don't know what he said. But yeah. So great. It'll be a caffeinated strum.
All right, this song. This was one of the first songs I posted on YouTube in my YouTube channel, and I thought it was very appropriate for pandemic time. It's called "Apocalyptic Love Song," and people really responded to it. And I wrote it a couple years ago, but it felt like it was its moment, you know. So this is called "Apocalyptic Love Song."
Apocalyptic love song.
They say the poles are shifting. I don't mean the ones on CNN. I mean north and south, they are flipping. Maybe I'm alarmist, but it sure feels like the end. If we're plunged in darkness, what'll I do? I don't own a shotgun, I've stockpiled no food. I can't hunt or navigate, I'm hopeless with maps. I'm wholly unprepared for societal collapse. But I will find you where you are, hitch a ride or steal a car. I will bike or jog or jump or break myself in two. When the streets run red with blood or turn to rivers due to flood, there is no dystopia that I wouldn't walk on through. 'Cause if the world is ending, I'd prefer to be with you. I would prefer to be with you. I make my home in California. Every other month, the state's on fire. If I said that didn't concern me, you'd have every right to laugh and call me a liar. I don't know if there is a better place than this. If there could be a feeling more soothing than your kiss. And if the wildfires spread and the ocean waters rise, I'll be fine as long as my last look is in your eyes. I will find you where you are, hitch a ride or steal a car. I will fight the zombies and the vigilantes too. When everyone's lost their grips in the post-apocalypse, I will keep my mind clear and my values ever true. 'Cause if the world is ending, I'd prefer to be with you. I would prefer to be. I will find you where you roam and we will build some better home. A treehouse by the water and a trusty old canoe. We won't need electricity at the tail end of history. We'll whittle our own soap and bathe with natural shampoo. 'Cause if the world is ending, I'd prefer to be with you. I would prefer to be with you.
Oh man, that was so beautiful. So I was leaning in, to listen because deaf, and someone goes, "She thinks this song is for her." It just made me laugh so hard.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was
The
essentially.
chorus below is always a crazy thing.
Yeah. Hold on while I wipe my son's butt.
Yeah, I don't think you're. Yeah.
I was trying so hard. I saw you trying not to laugh, and he was like, "Mommy, wipe my butt."
Ben and I started a thing at Radnor and Lee shows where we say mistakes permissible. Like we declare our live shows as a mistakes permissible
That's
space.
my jam.
And I found, because I've only been playing guitar about 3 years, and I I realized that like people aren't, and Ben and I have talked about this a lot. People are not showing up to see someone be perfect. I mean, maybe they're showing up to see Yo-Yo Ma be perfect or something like that. Even he's not being perfect. But what we're really what we want to watch, Kim Gordon in her memoir, Girl in the Band,
Okay.
she talks about, she says, people will pay good money to watch people believe in themselves.
Oh my God, I love that.
Isn't that amazing?
Say it again. Say it again.
People will pay good money to watch other
Oh my
people
God,
believe in themselves.
I loved that. That's
Yeah.
why people don't give a shit, like where I'm sitting right now, or about. I mean, that's really absolutely it.
Yeah. And I because I'm gonna mess up a little bit, because I'm still like, I'm not an ace guitarist. I'm just like a songwriter who is like kind of, you know, stumbling along, and I'm getting better every day because I practice like crazy. I have these blistered, you know, fingertips and everything. But you know, there's such a liberation in going, this is going to be imperfect, and that's going to be part of the beauty of it, is going to be the imperfection. You know, in Japanese, the Japanese have this thing called wabi-sabi. No, it's called wabi-sabi.
Yeah. No,
Do you know this?
I thought it was, isn't it Kitsuki that you're talking about? You're
It's like
talking
an imperfection in art. So like a ceramic maker would put a little dent
I
in
thought
the
that was
hole.
Kitsuki. Let's
Oh,
Google.
maybe. I don't know. We can look it up after this, but it's this idea that the imperfection is actually the signature or the kiss from the artist on the work of art.
Or as Leonard Cohen says, right? The cracks are where the light
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm really into like the wisdom of imperfection or the spirituality of imperfection, because I thought for so long I had to be something to, you know, to get love or validation, and I've realized like it's humanity that people love. It's like the realness that people really respond to, you know.
Okay, kintsugi is a Japanese art form in which breaks and repairs are treated as part of the object's history. Broken ceramics are carefully mended by artisans with a lacquer resin. The repairs are visible, yet somehow beautiful. But then wabi-sabi, I think maybe you're right. Wabi-sabi
Wabisabi.
Yeah. I also know it because there's a good sushi restaurant called Wabi-sabi. Yeah, you're right. Perfectly imperfect life. Imperfection is a basic principle of wabi-sabi.
Right.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, that was beautiful and perfectly imperfect. And then, okay, so you have a ton of fans in Turkey.
Apparently,
like
yes.
You're like wildly popular, apparently, in Turkey more than anywhere else. And people were also asking for 500 miles. I saw that like 600 times.
That's a How I Met Your Mother song. Whenever I appear, people write in for How I Met Your Mother songs and things. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm so grateful to have this connection with you and to now be a subscriber of the newsletter and a fan of yours.
Can we let more people know about like how they can donate and how they can what you're doing here?
So it started just really organically with me making a post saying, do you have enough food to eat? This is a literal question. And I said, I understand that it can be hard. I said, but if you don't tell us, we won't know. And the reason I did that is because I've cultivated this community, and I knew that if people responded honestly, other people would jump in, and I got you. Yeah. And that's what happened. And then one of my followers saw someone needed groceries and got $300 worth of groceries for her. And then she messaged me, Dana Mandello, and she said, do you want to keep going? Do you want me to start you a GoFundMe? I've never met her. And I said, yes, now we're partners. So she started GoFundMe. I did a live online workshop to raise money. And then after that, I thought, well, how can I keep generating money? So I started doing these talks and the Dork It Out Dance Challenge. And what we're doing is GoFundMe took a month to release the money. So it took a minute, but they finally did. We are getting people $100 gift cards for groceries. And Josh, right now, we have 1,200 people we're trying to get through. That's a shit ton. And as soon as we get through that, we're going to open the applications up again. The reason we stopped applications is we didn't have enough money in the GoFundMe. So we didn't want to like disappoint all the people, you know, who need help. So this is why it's so great when you and people who have big followings or platforms or celebrities come on, because they tell their fans and there's just more visibility, more money going. And, you know, I don't take it for granted at all that you come on here and you know, tell people about it, or there's other people. Who did I ask? There was someone I saw and I was like, can you get me? And you were like, I don't know her. Was it Chrissy Metz? Was it you?
Yeah.
I was like, I love her. But like, I don't see any reason why there shouldn't be $1 million in there. I don't. I mean, I'm not a celebrity and I'm in my 1-bedroom apartment, but I am someone who believes in herself. And there's this whole team of people with me, and we're doing something really beautiful and hard and powerful. And if you can't donate, do something. Check in on someone, share this link, share the fun. You know, there's always something to do.
Yeah. So if people did want to donate, how would they do that?
There's a
I
link
donated, but I want to let people know.
There's a link in my bio, and also it's On Being Human 2020. So it's my book with a 2020 on it. OnBeingHuman2020.com.
Okay.
OnBeingHuman2020.com. And I use the title of my book because that's really the overarching work I do in the world, is being human together and having our shared humanity and our, you know, mistakes permissible lifestyle. So the link is in my bio. It'll be there, or On Being Human 2020. And I just want money to keep pouring in there, because the more money we get, the more we can do. And it's not, this is so much bigger than me. I'm the public face, but there's a team of people. They're calling the people that have requested help. There's human connection. There's there's a whole system, and all these people are just doing this from their hearts. It's not like anyone's making any money.
I can't remember who said this, but some great Indian sage was asked by a disciple, how do I achieve enlightenment? And his response was, feed people.
Ugh. I love it.
So
I love that. So it's you know, and for me, it's not $10,000. It's not anything that's going to save anyone, you know, from homelessness or whatever it is, but it's a gesture, and it's a gesture of I got you, and it's also for me hope. And it's also the human connection. There's so many aspects of it, and the fact that there's a team of volunteers and that like celebrities have hopped on to help. It does really feel like a coming together. In a way that,
in some ways we're expanding our definition of what a village means. You
absolutely.
know, it's so much bigger than you know, our vicinity or our family or our community. And if this virus is showing us anything, and this has been said thousands of times, but the interconnectedness of all of us is being laid bare. And you know, I think that's right. Like if even $100 gift card to a family that's really struggling to put food on their table is like a gesture from the larger community to say, we're here, we see you, we recognize you, we're gonna
make me cry. So a couple of weeks ago, or recently, I was thinking about shifting my antidepressants, because I've been on Prozac for 5 years, and I don't know, I just was starting to feel meh. And I was thinking about it. Literally 10 minutes, I was about to email my doctor, and I had to get on one of these lives with Mark Duplass. And he was like, he had read my book, and he did this beautiful close reading, and he was like, Jen, I'm wondering if maybe there's just like another medication for you, you know? And I just took that as a sign. I was like, dude, like 10 minutes ago, no joke, I was going to, you know. So I emailed my doctor, I followed through, and I am going to switch, but in order to do that, I decreased down. So now I'm on 20 milligrams less. So I'm like, it's interesting. I've had what I call emotional constipation for a while, where I feel, but it doesn't. And so because I'm on less now, I'm like, I'm feely. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I've just found everything you're saying in that song to be so moving and important right now. I mean, how it's interesting you didn't write that song right now.
I know. But it's great to be able to. I'm going to release an EP onto Spotify in a couple, I don't know, days or a week or something. But that song will be on there. But some songs like kind of meet their moment. You know, I mean, certainly
Yeah.
there were apocalyptic signs, and I don't believe in any kind of, you know, biblical apocalypse.
No.
But there are moments when you go, like yesterday, amidst everything happening, it's like the U.S. Navy like confirmed there were UFOs. Like, I don't
I
know,
know. I
most
know.
people like missed this. Like the U.S. government was like, yeah, we have pictures of these UFOs, and it's just such a crazy time, you know. But I think like the best thing we can do in this moment individually is like stay sane and generous and you know, I have a goal that I want to be a better person when this thing ends, when we all emerge and walk out into the sunlight. I hope I use this time well, you know.
Oh, I know. I now that you just said that, I remembered what else you said in the thing when your friend passed away a couple weeks ago, was it?
Yeah.
And you said he was a real mensch, and I thought, oh, Josh, you're a real mensch.
Oh, thanks.
You are.
Thanks. I'll
Yeah, I
take it.
really. Yeah, you are. I'm in my phone. I'm going to call you Mensch Radnor. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my ask for you is just to share the word and to help me get more donations because there's a lot of people that need help
Yeah.
and just thank you to the volunteers that are doing this work behind the scenes and calling. Um, it's a lot of work and it's also deeply moving and spiritually humbling and a way to connect us. The people that are making the phone calls, as well as the people receiving them, are just being changed. Because
Yeah.
sometimes they stay on the phone for quite some time.
Yeah.
Um, so if you can, yeah, just share the word. And if there's anyone else you could think to come on my fancy talk show who would help generate income, text me,
Okay.
and you and I will stay in touch. I'm so grateful for you, you mensch.
Oh, thanks for having me. This was a pleasure to talk to you and connect.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
love. Bye.